to the working session 2, which is on Samruddha or Affluent Goa. Our first speaker is our friend Mr. Yatin Kakodkar. He is the Director, Apex Packaging Products Private Limited, Member Managing Committee, GCCI, former President CI of Goa, and very happy that he and I are both life trustees of the International Center Goa. Yatin, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to speak about Goa 2035 Vision and Roadmap. I shall speak about the chapter on Samruddha, Affluent Goa, and the role of industry and the economy in attaining the lofty recommendations of the report. My 15-minute presentation is divided into two parts. Part 1 will be a summary review of the main recommendations of the vision document. This is to refresh the context for today's session. And part 2 will be my comments. The vision document makes a very strong pitch for knowledge economy based model of development for Goa. This is the central and the most important recommendation the vision document makes in the section on industry. The vision document talks about 4 value chains. I prefer calling them clusters. They are the following: mining cluster, tourism, pharmaceuticals and healthcare, and education or knowledge. On mining cluster, the mining value chain includes mining, iron ore freight transport, barge transport, shipbuilding, repairs, Marmagao port, and all ancillary services. The vision document makes a very important recommendation about a cap on mining. Let me quote from the vision document. And this is the quote. The recommendations of the subgroup of GGJDC that the cap be between 20 to 25 million metric tons per year, exclusive of dump mining, during 2012 and 2017 to reduce the stress on ecosystem and social stress in the region, and the rigorous analysis that went behind this deduction may be taken into consideration. In my mind, this is a very important recommendation made by the vision document. The vision document also recommends that Goa needs to progressively reduce its dependence on mining for output and jobs, from the present 15 to 20% to less than 7 to 8% within the next 15 to 20 years. As income levels in our country go up, the tourism in Goa will grow very fast and continue to be a major contributor to the state's SDP. The vision document recommends niche tourism such as adventure tourism, mangrove-based tourism, ecotourism, agro-tourism, homestead tourism, etc. It recommends a world-class level of tourism. It also talks about starting an oceanarium and a convention center. It also recommends sustainable tourism with careful use of water, energy, and land. Tourism today contributes 15% to the state's GDP, and the vision document recommends that by 2035, it should continue to have the same contribution to the state's GDP. So while mining is going to reduce its contribution to GDP, tourism should maintain the same contribution. The pharma and health care cluster. Pharmaceutical industry has been one of the success stories of Goa. Goa produces 10% of India's pharmaceutical products. The vision document recommends that Goa should continue to produce 10% of India's pharmaceutical output. It also recommends promoting Goa as a national and an international healthcare destination. The share of the pharma and healthcare cluster in Goa's GDP should rise from 1% as of today to more than 5% in 2035. So again, we see a shift from mining towards more knowledge-based, knowledge-related industries. The vision document says that Goa should become a prime center for education and research in India with focus on information and communication technology, biotechnology, pharmacology, nanotechnology, public health, new media, maritime studies, green architecture. Goa should also be a leader in providing high-quality financial and business services such as accounting, law, advertising, public relations, management consultancy. And Goa should also aim to be a high-tech mini Bollywood. The knowledge cluster contributes 1% to GSDP, but this can go up to 10% by 2035. The vision document also talks about bottlenecks. It identifies 3 bottlenecks. The first bottleneck is good governance. And it also provides a handy acronym called TAP-FREE, which I don't want to get into at this stage. Vision document also makes it clear that physical infrastructure, power, water, and transport is critical to achieving the vision of affluent Goa. Let me briefly discuss these 3 infrastructure groups. Power. 90% of power consumed by the state is imported from other states. Goa consumes 550 megawatts at present. This is expected to grow to 4,000 megawatts by 2035. The vision document recommends that Goa should produce locally at least 50 to 60% of its own power by 2035. About 2,000 megawatts should be produced with natural gas and 300 megawatts with solar energy. Regarding water, the vision document states that by 2035, Goa should have water availability similar to that in the developed world, and that this is possible by tapping new sources and improving the distribution network. Transport, the vision document states that road, rail, waterways, and air transport need major investments to achieve the vision of Goa 2035. The vision document recommends that Goa builds 6-lane roads on both the national highways that pass through Goa. The railway lines should be converted from single line to a double line, and a metro system and a monorail line should also be started. Waterways should also be developed for carrying freight cargo from Marmugao port, and Mopa airport should be ready within 10 years. The vision document also recommends improving the social infrastructure, including education, healthcare, and law and order. The success of Goa Vision 2035 is based on success of the knowledge and healthcare value chain. Without an excellent education infrastructure in Goa, without a good university, Goa Vision 2035 will fail. Healthcare is important to improve quality of life. Besides, good healthcare will support the pharma and healthcare value chain. Industry and tourism need good internal security and law and order. Police force has to be empowered with the latest hardware and training. I will now come to the second part of my presentation, which are my comments. The Goa 2035 vision document is a well-conceived, progressive, balanced, and a fairly comprehensive report covering culture, natural beauty, environment, biodiversity, governance, education, infrastructure, and economy. It makes many excellent recommendations. Many of the recommendations are national class and world class. The report is a good starting point to plan for 2035, but of course one needs to go deeper into these issues. Let me speak what I think is the most important idea in the section of Samruddha Goa in the vision document, and that is the knowledge economy. Knowledge economy based model, if at all there is one state in India which is capable of implementing this vision, it is Goa. And that has to do with the size of Goa's population. The population of 14 lakhs at today makes it very amenable to implementing this vision. The local knowledge economy model will reverse the Goa brain drain. Educated Goans who leave Goa will have an incentive to stay back. Knowledge-based industries will also attract educated non-Goans rather than uneducated and unskilled migrant labor that Goa has attracted over the last 20 years. Furthermore, knowledge-based industries will also provide higher wages and earnings and raise the standard of living. It is also environmentally better. Let me also talk about issues which are not addressed or inadequately addressed by the vision document and which affect affluence in 2035. There are three such issues. They are interrelated, and they are population, urbanization, and public transport. I want to talk about population because the subject of sustainability, infrastructure, environmental protection, and affluence is related to the size of population. If population grows in an unregulated and uncontrolled manner between now and 2035, then sustainability, environment, infrastructure will be adversely affected. What I find missing from the vision document is a section on population in 2035. What will be the population in 2035? How can one plan for 2035 without knowing what will be the likely population in 2035? When you plan for something, it's with reference to a population number. So I think vision document should address this. They have to have a population estimate and plan accordingly. The second issue is urbanization. The vision document refers to urbanization in the section on Santulit Goa, balanced Goa. It makes very useful and important recommendations about coping with issues of urbanization. The focus, however, is about the year 2012 and not about 2035. The vision document does not really deal with the issue of urbanization in the year 2035. Let me talk about impending urbanization. High rate of economic growth is no ordinary beast. Sustained over 10-20 years, high economic growth can bring about disruptive transformation of society. The first impact of sustained economic growth in developing countries like China and India is that millions of people living in rural areas migrate to urban areas. Migration and urbanization will lead to a disruptive transformation of urban India if the Indian economy grows at 8 to 10% for 10-20 years. India has grown 8-9% during the last decade, and we have seen how much of that affluence has crept into the real estate market in Goa, driving land prices and cost of housing sky high in Goa to the detriment of local Goan people. In my opinion, this is only the beginning. It will get much worse if the country grows at 8-10% for 10-20 years. Goans living in rural areas will move to urban areas. People from other parts of India will come to live in Goa. Which urban areas will they live? What is Goa's policy on urbanization for 2035? What will be the population density in urban areas? How do we ensure that slums do not spread in Goa the way they are spread in other urban regions of India? How do we use land more intensively to cope with rising urbanization? What should be our policy on vertical housing? Are we going to allow urbanization to spread horizontally and swallow our land? Or has the time come to plan our urbanization skywards? Urbanization is one of the big challenges Goa faces. The challenge of urbanization is as important as protecting our environment and biodiversity. But urbanization is not accorded the same emphasis in the vision document. Public transport. The vision document talks about improving the transport infrastructure. It talks about starting metro and monorail lines in this decade. But the emphasis is lacking. If Goa grows at 10% per year for 20 years, and population also grows from 14 lakhs to 25 lakhs, I'm just giving a number, one can imagine the number of private cars and motorcycles that will choke the roads of Goa every day. The vision document should have taken a shot at estimating the number of vehicles that will ply the Goan roads in 2035. Let us assume it doubles by 2035. Will there be enough roads for these private vehicles? Where will one park these private vehicles? How much pollution will they cause? Developing public transport for 2035 should be one of the main tasks for government of today and tomorrow. The vision document does not address this adequately. This was a slide on public transport. With rising affluence, the population of private vehicles in Goa will rise or maybe treble by 2035. Does Goa have a long-term plan to deal with a 100% or a 200% increase in private vehicular traffic? Population, urbanization, and public transport are issues that need long-term plans with a range of 30 to 50 years instead of short-term plans with a range of 5 to 10 years. At present, we have no plans to deal with these issues. Goa is not planning for the future, but is struggling to catch up with problems that arose 10, 15 years ago. We are still trying to solve the problems that happened 10 years ago. We are not at all planning for the future. And by future, I don't mean next 5 years or 10 years. We have to, at least the big issues like public transport, population, urbanization, we need to have a master plan for 25, 30, 50 years. You cannot have all the details, but at least the broad contours should be planned. But let me again say that Goa is still struggling to catch up with the problems of the past. Dr. Mashelkar, in his keynote speech, talked about execution and implementation. As I conclude, let me quote what Mr. Gursharan Das wrote in Foreign Affairs, a journal of repute. Gursharan Das is a successful corporate manager, management thinker, intellectual, author, and a columnist for a leading newspaper. This is what he wrote in Foreign Affairs, which is published in the USA. Quote, "The Indian bureaucracy is a haven of mental power. It still attracts many of the brightest students in our economy who are admitted on the basis of a difficult exam. But despite their very high IQs, most bureaucrats fail as managers. Indians tend to blame ideology or democracy for their failures. But the real problem is that they value ideas over accomplishment. Most Indian politicians and civil servants fail to plan their projects well, monitor them, or follow through on them. Their performance failures mostly have to do with poor execution." Goa 2035 vision document makes many good recommendations. Will the present and future political class, bureaucrats, and stakeholders, as Prabhakar Timle also mentioned, it's not just government that we have to refer to, also stakeholders. So I also say, will the present and future political class, bureaucrats, and stakeholders be able to execute and implement the recommendations and the report? That is the question. I leave you with this thought. Thank you for your attention.